Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Untold Truth. I'm Master Eric, and accompanying me tonight is Sharon.
Hi, good evening.
I want to say Sitaram, Assalamu Alaikum, Sairam, and good evening, everybody. I want to say hello to all the listeners of the new U95, 97.5 FM radio. I want to say thank you for tuning in. And before we go into the topic tonight, I want to thank the sponsors that actually sponsored the program tonight. And that's Brigson Auto and Electrical Company Limited. They're located at 425 Papori Road, Raghu Village, San Fernando. And their contact numbers are 657-4175 or 657-5286. And that is Brigson Auto and Electrical Company Limited. And we want to really say thank you for sponsoring this program tonight. So, tonight, everyone, all of you listening, I wish you people in the car could actually just answer my questions. But if you do want to WhatsApp a question, we have it live on the screen in front of us. You can WhatsApp us at 354-4459. Again, that is 354-4459. And we both would love your questions to come up on the screen. And if I'm busy talking, Sharon's going to say, hey, we got a message that's coming up on the screen. And we'll actually do it. Everybody in the live audience today, welcome. And I want to say, if you have a question during this, please stand up, don't be shy, and come up front and actually ask your questions. I may power question you. So what that means, I may point and say, would you please come up and ask you a question? You know, I don't like people to fall asleep when we're doing a program. So we're going to keep you on your toes tonight. All right? So everybody, the topic that we're going to talk about tonight is, what is life?
Good question.
What is life? And Sharon, I don't want to put you on the spot. You're new, you're kind of nervous. But the thing is, in your way, there isn't a perfect way to define this. But what do you think, what I'm trying to get to tonight with the topic, what is life? What do you think life is?
I think it's what you expect out of it. What you try to achieve out of your life. It's not just about, living. It's about how you live, what you do, how you to improve.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask the audience this, and then we're going to get into the topic. What do you think life is? Is it just about us? Or is it about nature also? Is it about all of God's creation? You know, we got to look at what is life. And then we got to look at why are we here? You know, a lot of people, we go through everyday life. And we have our routines, we're going through our daily, what you call timetables. And then you go to work, and then you're all busy at work, you get vexed at work, you like work, and then you're driving home or driving to work, you get vexed on the way to work because you get a bad drive.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of things that gets our minds off of what we're supposed to focus every day and all day. So, Sharon, we're born.
Yes.
And we've already had programs on why we end up where we are. Like what families, and that, the ancient scripture says that we pick our mothers, not our fathers.
Right.
Okay? And I know you're a very vivid listener, so you've listened to most of the programs. So we're not going to backtrack on that. So we understand that we came from heaven and we made a promise to the Supreme,
Right.
right? Of what we would accomplish before we're born. So now, I'm just going to recap a little bit. So now, we're born.
Right.
Then, the heartbeat. Well, we're not born, but we're conceived. And then the heartbeat kicks in. And the soul enters the baby. Right? And then when the baby's born, do you know the baby remembers everything is said to God? Up until the soft spot on the head starts to harden. When the soft spot starts to harden, can't remember it anymore. Now, why do you think God did that?
I think he did that so that we could follow the path for ourselves. Make the choices that he intended us to make on our own free will, rather than telling you.
Your mic's coming down a little bit. There we go.
Rather than he, listing out points as to you are supposed to do this, give you the free will to choose the paths.
So, no, that's good. Don't get me wrong. That's not good. I mean, it's good. But what I'm trying to get at, are we not supposed to remember due to, if you remembered everything, would we have the experiences of just succeeding? We would if we knew everything.
Probably, yes.
So there wouldn't be a part or a time in our life where we're making free will of choice, right? Because we would know everything.
Yeah.
And everything that was written about us before we were born,
Mm-hmm.
we'd already know. So we would just follow that path.
Mm-hmm.
But coming to earth and being born here is special. And why it's special? Earth is our learning and testing grounds. Okay, there's gonna be experiences coming at you at different times in your life. And the Supreme always watches
Yes.
because he already knows what's written for you, right? So the problem we get into is that God tries to give us signs. He tries to give us signs. Some people call it intuition. Could be a physical sign that he's trying to give you.
Yes, this is true.
As you're walking or you're seeing a sign, you're saying, wow, I dreamed that last night. Or you might have dreamed something. Or you might have dreamed the numbers 444 or 111. Or, if you're lucky, a royal flush. No, I'm joking. All I'm trying to say is that they give you signs,
Yes.
right? But 9 times out of 10, we're so busy in our everyday life that we don't even see these signs. We're too occupied, oh God, I'm running late. I'm running late. I got to get to work. Or if I miss this meeting, oh my God, what's going to happen? Or, oh boy, I forgot what I was going to cook tonight.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of aspects we go through every day that occupies our minds. So now, as we grow up, now, not just trying to understand why we're here, in the early stage, we're in the learning stage. You go to school, you're watching your parents, you learn values, you learn ethics, you learn morals. And then we start getting a little older. Then we hit the great teenage years. And that's where some children start to get a little rebellious. They may act up, some may not act up, right? And then we go into, there's 4 stages of life,
Okay.
okay? And hopefully towards the end of the show, we're going to go over those 4 stages because everybody goes at it. But if you really look, the last stage is normally around the period when a person retires. And if you notice, a lot of older people, they will start going to church more.
Yes.
They go to temples more. They go to the mosque more.
That's true.
And they're getting more spiritual.
Yes.
Okay? Now, I just gave away the last one. But we're going to keep the middle 2 for later. But the thing is, from the morals and ethics and values that we learn, that's great. Mm-hmm. But then remember, the earth and the universe is made out of positive and negative energy. So there's always an opposite to the one you're with, right? So now you have social media. You got cable TV. You got all these different views
Yes.
that confuses people when we are growing in life. And I'm not saying that the people on social media, it's bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, is everything on social media, does it match the values that you grew up with today? And the answer is absolutely not.
Totally.
Okay? Things are totally shifting, right? But that's another topic.
Yeah.
We're going to go into that. But I want to see how young people get confused. Then you have peer pressure as you grow up. Now, they're doing one thing, but you're taught not to do that.
Yes.
But then you're tempted to do it. And all of us has grown up. So we've all made minor mistakes as we grew up. Why? You wanted to test it.
Yes, I think that
You wanted to experience it. You wondered what it was like because you never done these things. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but this is the way people grow up, right? Now, that agreement that we made with God still hasn't clicked yet. So then we start going through life again. And hopefully your parents grew you up going to the temple, going to church, going to the mosque to develop a solid base of spirituality and religion within your life. So now, young people still get confused more today because young people isn't like, I'm a lot older than you. So when I grew up, when I ask a question, some of the old preachers, they would give good answers. And they didn't get upset that you asked questions. But nowadays, when young people ask questions, a lot of the spiritual leaders, they get kind of upset.
Yes.
It's almost like you're trying to challenge them.
Yes.
You're trying to, challenge their focus of their knowledge and everything else. But the children are not.
No.
When I grew up, people said, you have to have faith. You have to have belief.
Yeah.
Well, that worked back then because, we tried our best to have that faith and belief in God. But children today, they are actually, they want to experience something.
They want to see.
They want to see something.
They don't want to just feel something. They need to see.
They're looking at things more from a scientific point of view.
Yes.
Because this is the way they're brought up in school.
Yes.
Right? So, from the first phase to the second, from the second to the third phase of life, there's going to be a time. Now, I'm going to ask all the listeners, but I know the listeners that's driving on the road right now, don't raise your hand, okay? Because, that's not safe. But everybody watching the YouTube, the videos and everything, or the audience here, how many of you, now I've got many different age people in the audience. How many of you, as you were growing up, did you ask your question, what's my purpose? Has anybody asked that?
I think everybody.
Hey, I'm seeing some hands here.
I think everybody.
Right. And did you ever try to figure out, did you ask anybody, how do you find what your purpose is in life? Now, some people get confused before we go more into the purpose. They get confused. One, they get confused of your duties versus your purpose.
Yes.
So some people say, well, my purpose was to come here, get married, have children, raise children, provide for my children, right? And this is how people actually think,
Generally, yes.
right? But that's your duty.
Yeah, it's not your purpose.
That's your duty. And some people say, I fulfill my duty or my purpose every day, right? But the thing is, do we? And I did a program about a month and a half ago on duty. So I don't really want to focus on that tonight. But your experiences in life is not your purpose. What you accomplish in life is not your purpose. That is your duty. Now, once you find your purpose, you start looking at life different. So let's go backwards a little bit, Sharon, and everybody out here. In order to find out your purpose in life and know what life is, you have to know your purpose to live life fully.
Yes, correct.
And to love life. Okay? Well, then here comes the question. So, Sharon, who are you?
Good question, Master Eric. You put me on the spot there. Well, what can I say?
Who is Sharon?
Person that's looking to fulfill the spiritual purpose. I'm doing my duty, and while doing the duties, I need to find what the spiritual purpose is.
Okay. But before you can find your spiritual purpose, who is Sharon? Would you come up? And I'm going to ask you the question too. Who are you? Tell me.
From what I was exposed to in life, firstly, my name is Shivan, but I always thought who am I is the achievements that I've had. So degree, work,
Okay.
these things.
Okay. So, you told me that don't run away from the mic. So you told me you is an accumulation of letters, which is S-H-I-V-A-N for short, abbreviation.
Yes.
So you're an accumulation of letters. Did you exist? Think about it. Before they named you?
Yes.
So you weren't Shivan then.
No.
So who were you? And then you just mentioned that your degrees, your schooling, everything. I didn't ask what your experiences were
Accomplishments.
and accomplishments as Shivan. Who are you? This is what people have to understand. And when you look at these type of questions, you don't look at it from just a logic point of view. There has to be also spirituality within this, how you look at it. So go ahead, try it again.
Well, I believe that everybody, as you say, have a purpose. But I always wanted to know, how do you know what is your purpose? Because you said from birth, after a certain point in time, you forget, right? But how do you get back that connection to know that, okay, this what I'm doing right now is my purpose. That is what I was put here, and that is my input to this world before, until I leave. Like, how do you get back that connection?
Okay. First, let's look at it from the beginning. You, what I see of you, and what I see of her and everybody here, I see the vehicle that the soul rides in. This, when we die, stays here. This vehicle is no good at that time. But the soul will live forever. You are a particle of the divine God himself. But here's the problem. As we go through these different stages in life, are we connected with him? Are we drawn away from him because of all of social media, how the world is starting to turn out now? But if you have a good person, a mentor, some people call him a teacher or a guru, they will steer you to where you can balance your life from young to older, to where you can balance your everyday life and have God in it.
Yes.
Now, also that teacher, and I think you're one of the ones that comes to the meditation classes.
Yes.
So now you have actually, and you have too,
Yes.
you have actually learned how to make that direct connection with God.
Yes.
You both experienced it,
Yes.
okay? So now, when you make that connection with God, or even before that, a lot of people, especially women, now I'm not mama guy and you guys on TV, but it's true. Women has that sixth sense, that built-in intuition. It's like they have radar, right?
Yeah.
And they can actually make that connection easier than a man. Now, I'm not saying men are dotish, not all the time, right? But what I'm saying, women, on the average,
Yes.
actually takes education, spirituality a little more serious than a man. Do you all agree so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, we've defined who you are. Now, once you start to balance and make that actual connection, what is pre-written for you and what is predestined for you, the signs are going to come in. Some people get dreams. Some people have signs. And then when you have the dreams, you maybe 2 days later, you're like, whoa, man, I remember that. I dreamed that. Or sometimes you'll be in a conversation with someone and it's constructive and sometimes spiritual. And then that dream will come. And it's like confirmation that this is what's for you. But as we go through life, do you know where people get stuck? They're scared of change. They're really scared of change. And then they're really scared of walking through this new door, this new opportunity because they don't know what's really awaiting there when you go through the door.
Yes, I agree with that.
Now, anytime you feel to butt in or whatever. So now, what do you think's going to happen? If you want to experience life, you want to experience life fully, you have to understand life itself.
You said, Master Eric, that you made a commitment to God, a promise, when you came here, right? And everything is laid out. Everything is laid out, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about, let's say, a person in their teen
Your mic
years-
fell over again. There we go.
A person in their teen years was supposed to do something, but didn't. And in their 20s, they were supposed to do something again, and they didn't. That was already pre-written.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then when they reach like their 40s or their 50s and then, become aware of spirituality? What happens then to all those things that they were supposed to do that they didn't do?
Okay, so let me explain this. Let's say, and I talked about this, I think, 3 programs about, I just brought in this one part that I'm going to repeat again. Everybody, every religion states, and they believe it, that your life is written before you're born. So that means God knows when you're going to be born, the date, the time, everything. And then he's going to know everything that is predestined for you through your life. Then he also knows the time and date that you will depart from here.
Come here, yes.
Okay? So now, there are windows of opportunities, doors of opportunities in your life. So then, when we talked about finding your soulmate, and if it was predestined at inch number 3 on a ruler, if you held a ruler up. So the ruler, 1 to 12. 1, you're born. 12, God forbid, you go.
Right.
So, if you were predestined to meet your soulmate or the one that you're supposed to really be with at inch number 3,
Right.
and you missed that opportunity, then that opportunity is reset. There's going to be another door of opportunity for the same thing. Okay? Now, in amongst everything we have here,
Right.
who is really in charge of their own destiny?
Thank God is in charge.
God's in charge, yeah. But God cannot tell you what to do because he gave each one of us free will of choice. So now, this is where the testing and learning grounds go. This is where it kicks in. So, you're going to make a decision. And you have a choice. You can either go to the left or go to the right. And bet your bottom dollar, I've said it about a couple weeks ago. When I was young, I wasn't really too nice. I was a good naughty, right? But I was mischievous. So when I was making my decisions, I'll bet you God upstairs was probably looking, oh my God. Oh God, don't. Oh God, please don't. But I made that decision. So now God, at that time, I put God to work.
Yeah.
Now he has to conform everything around us
Set the
to
scene
fit
again.
that decision to show us that it either was a great decision
Or not.
or it was not. Now, from that action, we are supposed to learn not to repeat that action.
And suppose people repeat.
Pardon?
And if it is repeated,
Then you're going to keep experiencing the same thing over and over and
so
over.
you're really not going to be moving forward.
No. It'll be like you're spinning top of mud. Right? A next thing. Sometimes when a situation comes up, now some things aren't created by us. Sometimes God is going to test us. He's going to put us in situations to see how we're going to react. How are we actually going to go through it? Now, what's human nature? Human nature, as we are living our life, because like I said, we don't really live to the fullest of what we're supposed to live.
Yeah.
So, as we're actually living our life and we make those decisions and we keep repeating it, or when a situation that God puts us in approaches us, human nature is, boy, let me just try to forget it. Let me try to forget it. Let me tuck it away in the closet or in the attic. And you try to go along your business. Well, the way the universe is designed, when God puts us in a situation, He's wanting us to acknowledge. We talked about this morning during the program. Acknowledge, accept it, conquer it, and go move on.
Right.
But when we start to tuck it away, it's going to come back again and again and again. And sometimes it's going to come on a little harder, a little harder, a little harder, until we succeed.
Okay.
So a lot of people, they try to run away. Don't run away from a situation, people. You have to face the situation. You have to face the situation without fear and doubt and believe that God is right there watching. He's with you.
Yeah.
But He's just there monitoring. Okay? Now, when we go through these situations, we have a sign of relief. We're like, whew, got through that one. And you start going down the road some more. Now another situation comes in. But bet your bottom dollar, at a certain time in your life, as you're going through life, and you still haven't recognized what your purpose is yet, you put God to work again. He's going to put you into a situation to meet someone. And when you meet someone, that person is going to see your potential
Yes, I think that is very true.
within spirituality and everything in life. And when you meet somebody like that, people, you grab onto them. I did. And I trained under him for 10 years. But it's to get that guidance. So that person was inserted into your life at a certain time. And everybody's time difference, their time is different to experience this. Now, people, when you start to understand and realize what your purpose is, your whole life changes. Now, when I say change, don't panic, people. We're not going to turn you into a pundit or a preacher. Okay? We're going to turn you into a person that realizes who they are starting to become and enjoy life.
Master
Yes.
Eric, we have a question.
All right, so Master, this question just occurred to me, right? Could someone go through life, although they get the right person in their life and they didn't notice it, and could they go through life and even pass on and not achieve the true purpose that they came here for?
It's a good
Yes.
question, that is. So what happens
And what
then?
happens after that? Do they have to take back birth?
To come back?
try-
Well,
Right,
it
right,
depends
right.
which faith you're talking about.
Right.
Some beliefs say that if you did not fulfill the purpose that you were here to do, that you have to relive it again to understand. That's some beliefs.
Right.
Remember, on this program, everybody listening, we recognize everybody's faith. And we do not put down anybody's faith. We recognize each person's view. So now, let me put a spin on that. Has any one of you watching right now, you've met somebody, and we talked about this when we talked about souls, so we're touching on that a little bit, that your blood just took them right away. You felt like you knew them for a long time.
Yes.
And some people call them like an old soul,
Yes, a lot of.
right? A lot of people will call them that, right? Well, guess what? In the ancient beliefs, they state that those who you were with in your past life, and you were together as a group to accomplish God's work, your purpose in life. And if you all, as a group, did not fulfill that purpose, you will be reborn on earth, and God will somehow bring you all back together where you meet. But you're not the same as you was in your past birth, right? And then you're put together to accomplish the work, your purpose. See, but some faiths don't believe that far. Okay? But even though they may not believe that far, they still believe in the same thing as the ancient beliefs. So no modern religion, whether it's Christianity, Muslim, or Judaism, they cannot say anything different. The bottom line between you and God is individual accountability.
Yes.
You are accountable for the choices you make in life. So then, we start going into different stages in our life. Now, this is where the tail spins out of control. I have not seen a perfect family. So when it's time, people start fighting over property, money, wealth, anything, right? And they're fighting. But why? See, this is where everything starts, all these different scenarios starts coming at you as you're trying to develop yourself. So now, when they start to come, while you're developing yourself, you have to look at things and understand one thing. Who's actually going to have this land? Or who's going to actually have the money, if there's any left, in 100 years? Definitely not the people it's fighting over.
No, definitely.
And then they have to understand that that land was here before the humans even was born on earth. And it's going to be here after the final tribulation. So what are we fighting over?
Good question.
See, this is what's going to deviate everybody from their path, their spiritual path. And one of the spiritual laws is that you don't become attached
To material.
to materialistic wealth. Okay, you don't become attached to physical things. The only attachment we're supposed to have is that link that you're supposed to connect with your soul that we talked about and to God. And try to understand. See, people has a concept that we're living for the now.
Yeah.
We're living now. So I got to be rich now. I don't care how I'm going to get it, but I have to get my wealth now. I have to pass it on to my children. Well, put it this way. If you accumulate wealth in the wrong way, it won't even be there for your kids to receive it. You won't be able to keep it. Okay? Or if you do accumulate the wealth the wrong way, there's a lot of rich families, Sharon, that I see that none of them are happy. They're all concentrated on wealth and money, and they don't have no relationship with the children, the wife, and there's no love within the family, and it's sad. So you're making a trade-off.
Yeah.
But again, if we can balance as we go through life,
Yeah.
everything starts to harmonize.
I think that's the problem, balance. A lot of us don't have that balance.
Everybody has balance. But are you making the choice to learn how to balance?
No, they not.
And this is what we have to look at. And the question is why? Because we only have a short time here on earth. A lot of people say, well, I'm going to live to be 94. But if you look in the realm of the age of earth to our time on earth, we're here for a nanosecond. Okay? It's a short time for us to learn the values. What is right? What is wrong? Start to understand. Now, a lot of people will say, well, there was a question 2 weeks ago that came up.
Yeah.
What about atheists? Right? What about them? Do they believe? What do they do? Well, let's look at it. Atheists, a lot of atheists, because I watch the blogs every day. They come in for certain spiritual leaders, and you're actually watching all the questions coming in from worldwide. And the synopsis of all the conversations came up and said, they believe in a supreme,
Right.
but they do not believe in man's religion. That's why they call themselves an atheist.
Right.
It's not that they don't believe in God. So then some people will say, well, if they don't believe in our religion, they're going to hell. Well, the question is, I can't say that.
Right.
The Bible says, thou shalt not judge. Right? Only God can decide that. But then you have people that honestly, and this may be hard to conceive, that's never been, brought into this idea. They've never been exposed to Jesus or whoever you believe in. Are they going to hell? They were never exposed. But what about their good heart and how they act? This is where people all get tied up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying nothing bad or anything about religion. I think it's a must. And we need to have it in our life as a foundation.
Yeah.
But you have to encompass everything that we're talking about tonight and try to understand, what is life? What is our purpose? So you can sit back tonight, sit back in your recliner in your bed, and start looking at your past and looking at now and saying, am I reaching that? Am I fulfilling my purpose? Am I doing what God may have wanted me to do? Or am I doing the opposite? Well, it's never too late to actually start changing things. Now, when you change things, people, you can do it in baby steps. Do it in baby steps. It's hard to change a person's life.
is.
It's hard to change a person's habits. But then, I said it this morning on Zelisa's show, is find positive people to be around.
Yes.
Somebody that's going to help uplift you. Somebody to help and say, oh, you want to do that? I'll help you. I'll support you.
Yes.
You need to have that support system in life to uplift yourself both in the physical world and in the spiritual world. And in both of them, you have to incorporate the Supreme.
Yes.
He has to be
there.
within that. And life. Are you a little more clear tonight after we've went over this? How about you out there, everybody?
A little bit more. Yeah.
You know, now, all of you that's seeking, if you every day And let's say you're going to a temple, a mosque, a church, the Catholic Church. It don't matter. Or a synagogue. And you're going and you like it. But you feel inside, you feel like a little bit of emptiness. Then what's missing? There's something missing. And that's a sign. That intuition from the soul, the true you that's riding inside you. He's trying to connect with you and say, listen, listen. And most of the time, you're going to hear, not physically, but it's almost like a, hey, I'm back here. I'm down here. Right? Start listening to me. Right? But we're trained that we are in control. That we are in control of our own destiny. Okay? And there's nothing wrong about being motivated. There's nothing wrong with trying to have control of certain aspects of your life. But we have to balance. Now, we got a few minutes left. Now let's go to the fourth stage. And as you get older, and you've had these life experiences, 9 times out of 10, you have grandchildren. And you try to give advice to your daughter or son and their children and their children, but they don't listen. They're not listening, right? And then you may have had grudges. You may have been really mad at your family, neighbors, boss, whatever. And you've held a grudge for 20 plus years. And you've never talked to that family member for 20 some years. But then there's going to be a time to where you may be told you only have 7 days left to live. Now your whole mindset changes. And that's why a lot of the ancient beliefs, the sages, the sadhus, all of them, they say that death is our best teacher. The reason is when you are faced with that final day coming, a lot of people at that time, they try to make amends, maybe. Or if those people come and you know that this may be the last decision or last conversation that you've ever going to hear in your life before you die, and that person walks in, it's natural. You'll probably listen to every word they say. And you may make amends. You might forgive. And that is a final stage of learning. But the question is, why do we wait till that time? Why can't we do it now? Is it just because we're told we're going to pass? See, and then a lot of people say, oh good, oh boy, I can't die with this hatred because I don't know if it's going to go against me when I get judged. That's why I'm told I'm going to get judged. You know, it's the unknown out there. Where am I going to go with what I've done in life? Right? All I'm trying to say, everybody, why wait till then? Enjoy life now. My father said every time I talked to him on the phone, even up to a week before he died, he told me and my wife and my family, there's nothing more important in life than God and family.
Yes, very true.
But the world don't see it that way nowadays. They really don't see it. And all of us kids within the family, we remained with that. We never fought. I mean, that may sound unreal, but we never did. Even when they passed on, there was inheritance. none of us wanted a dime.
Yeah.
You understand? That wasn't what was important.
No.
What was important was the legacy that he brought us up in. Are we doing that now?
No, I don't think so.
Are we teaching our children? Are we showing them by our actions that we are starting to enjoy life? We are starting to love what we do. We are starting to find our purpose. We're starting to look for some type of spirituality to fulfill the void within us. So, are we doing that with our children? Or do we just let them sleep in on Sunday or Saturday and we don't really make them pray with us? We're not praying before we eat. You're not showing these morals and ethics. You know, there's a lot of things we're missing. And do you think that we should start bringing that back?
Yes, I think so.
Do you think that all of us listening tonight, we could take a little more time with our children and teach them, motivate them, and don't look at them if they're a little slow and say, don't be stupid. You could do better than that. You're not eating until you get that homework done. You have to support. You got to give them support. Give them that coaching. Help them learn, right? When it comes to God, sit down as a family and start learning together. Because guess what? A parent is a key portion of a child in the direction to find their purpose.
That's true.
Okay? A lot of people say witness. Well, witness is two different things. One, witness can be through talking, preaching, instructing, teaching, right? But the main witness is by the actions you do per day. You could have somebody preach all day, but when you see them anywhere in Trinidad and Tobago, are they living what they preach? Is the people that's going there, that's saying, amen, hallelujah, are they actually living what they're amen about? See, this is what we got to do. We can't be hypocrites. You cannot do one thing and expect our children to do another.
True.
It's impossible. And then if our parents did that to us, that's why I said, do not condemn your parents. No matter what you do, you respect your parents. But if the parents are not on the path that you are, do not condemn your parents. Maybe your job being born into that family is to help your parents,
Yes, I think so.
to guide them and get them on the right track.
Yes.
You never know. God is the only one that knows the real plan,
Yeah.
right? But it's never too late to start to make that change. And we're going to have classes coming up, people. And those classes are going to be in depth. I talked about two of them this morning. One was what leads to divorce and how to let go. Then we're going to have also classes at the same time about who am I and what is my purpose. And if people really want to learn, they really want to get in depth, you call and make that appointment to join that class, because it's going to really open your eyes. You have to understand that, and I talked briefly about it this morning, when you live your life, you have to understand what the lucid self is. And the lucid self is to where you're not viewing your life from your point of view. You're viewing your life if everybody in the world was watching you 24/7. You got to view your life from the third sense. And then when you're in doubt and you come up to a situation and you're really baffled, what should I do? Everyone out there listening and watching, There's a simple solution. A simple solution. Just take 2 seconds before you react or say anything about the situation. And whatever you've learned about God or Jesus or Muhammad or Krishna or any one of the beliefs, all you have to say, what would they do in this situation? And if you follow that rule, you will never go wrong. But once you steer away from that, it starts to become a rough road. And all of us has experienced rough roads in our life. And that's part of the learning stage and growing stage in life. Learning from our own mistakes and don't repeat the bad decisions that we may have made. See, a lot of people, they come in and the first thing they're worried about that we're going to judge them when they talk about their problems and their situations. And I always told them, I said, we can never judge you here because we don't have the authority to judge you. If anybody judges you, they're committing a sin. Our job is to understand what you're going through and help guide you through that. But when a person guides you through a situation, they should give you 2 positive options.
Yes.
And it's up to your free will of choice which option that you choose. And that person that's advising them have to let them know whichever positive one they take, we will support you. We will help guide you through that situation. Right? So, if you're setting out there today and it seems like it's hopeless, you don't even enjoy life, and there's so many things coming at you from so many different directions, give us a call or give your spiritual leader a call. And if you don't get help then give us a call at 354-4459. Why? We're there for you. I tell everybody, when you come in, and all of you, most of you out here, all of you, you've come. And aren't you treated like family?
So I could be testimony to that, yes.
That's the way people are supposed to feel when they come in. Not that they're less than you and that you're above them. So if you feel like everything is coming down on you one time, let me tell you something. There is hope. Number 2, there are people that care. We're not here doing this program, everybody, just to hear ourselves talk. We're not here for publicity. We're here to try to teach, try to give you awareness, let you know there is a door that's meant for you to walk through. And it's never too late. You know, I've been there. I've been some real through hard times. Some of my best friends when I was in the military got killed right in front of my face. But you have to keep going. No matter what you go through, you have to keep going. And we always dealt with them when we got done with what we had to do. But never give up. If you fall down, get back up. You wipe off your pants and you go again. But if you have a problem or a situation and you really need help, you give us a call, 354-4459. And hopefully, and I haven't seen nobody that's failed yet, you'll start to love life. You'll start to be positive, and you'll start to prosper in life. And you'll learn not to dwell on the negative, but look at the positive. And always have God in your life. That's a must. Everybody, it's been fantastic. Thank you for viewing with us tonight, and we will see you And also thank you for Brigson Auto Electrical Company Limited. And they're located in Raghu Village, and their number is 657-4175 or 657-5286. And we want to say thank you so much for letting us go on air, and hopefully people will get help through your help. Thank you so much, everyone.